From social media. When were you shadow banned by the government? Because they always say that you got banned by the Indian government.
Indian government got banned in 2016.
So,
And the shadow ban came after that.
so you were banned from India? You're not allowed to go to India anymore?
No, I can go, but I can't come out. They'll welcome me. If I go, they'll welcome me to come in, but they won't allow me to go out.
But what, you were talking about the shadow bans from social media. When were you shadow banned by the government? Because they always say that you got banned by the Indian government.
Indian government got banned in 2016.
So,
And the shadow ban came after that.
so you were banned from India? You're not allowed to go to India anymore?
No, I can go, but I can't come out. They'll welcome me. If I go, they'll welcome me to come in, but they won't allow me to go out.
But what is the reason?
The reason basically is because of my popularity.
Is that what
It
they
is not
say?
because I'm popular only in Muslims. That's not a problem for
With
them.
Hindus?
I'm popular among the non-Muslims, and their vote bank is trying to bring division between Hindu and Muslim. And my talks get unity between Hindu and Muslim. So after I left the country, Modi, the Prime Minister, sent an emissary to me to, to try and bring
Modi,
about
right? He just said, Modi, did you see the speech? He said, India's the motherland and
Yes,
Israel's the
yes.
fatherland. You saw this? This is like the Prime Minister.
So they want me to come back, and they said, we will give you everything, we'll give everything, we'll support you. But of course, I'm not there for money, I'm not there for any status. They wanted me to support Kashmir, what they did in Kashmir. I said, I cannot do that, I cannot support your wrong activities.
So they basically want to use your influence for political gain.
Of course, yes.
Because
And
they
which
like
is haram.
division.
If someone uses for a good cause, I have no problem, but not for the cause which is haram, like they are doing such a wrong deeds to the Muslims, and so because of that, I did hijrah. And of course, when I did hijrah, my activities increased more.
MashaAllah.
Though my staff may have reduced, but my activities has increased a lot, in terms of politics, in terms of meeting, in trying to help other people. Previously, it was pure dawah. Now we try and help the Muslim countries, try and meet each other.
You touched on an idea that I think a lot of Americans are starting to realize is that division is intentional to keep the people
Divide and rule.
divide and conquer, right?
Divide and conquer, divide and rule.
Can you explain that idea? How did you come to realize that unity is something that they intentionally don't want us to have?
No, because if you see the history of India, if you know Muslims, then they ruled India for about 800 years.
Right.
India was the most powerful country in the world at that time, if you see from the 15th, 16th century. And in the 16th century, when Aurangzeb was the ruler, India had 25% GDP of the full world, more powerful than America in terms of money.
Which year?
16th century,
Okay.
16th, 17th century, 1630. At the time of Akbar and Aurangzeb, India was the highest. So 25% of the full world GDP was from India.
From spices, right?
Spices or other, many things, gold and jewels and everything.
And then the
And
British
then the
colonies stole
Britishers
it all.
came, they came to do business as a businessman, and they cheated,
Yeah.
and they had their own army,
Yeah.
and they ruled, and they brought a division between the Muslims. So at the fault of Muslims also, they were divided, and they started, bribing the people, and that's how the division came. And previously in India, Hindu Muslims were very united. Even at the time of Mughals, there was no division between religion. So Aurangzeb and Akbar had Hindus who were the army general, and Shivaji had Muslims who were the army general. So it was common. There was no fight. There was political fight between the kings, but not because of religion. So when the Britishers came everywhere in the world, they divided and they ruled. So then they took all the wealth of India, sent it to UK, and they started taxing, and that's how, and the GDP of India completely went down. And after they left, then again India is down. So in that terms, India was a very powerful country. So then we realize everywhere the major problem that the Muslims are facing now is because of disunity, number one. And of course, number one is going away from Quran and Sunnah. If you see history, from the 8th to the 12th century, the Europeans called it the Dark Ages. Dark Ages means the world was backward, they used to say.
Right.
But for Islam, it was a golden age.
Yeah.
From the 8th to the 12th century, the amount of advances that the world made in science because of Muslims is phenomenal.
Algebra.
Algebra,
Physics.
trigonometry, chemistry, you name it. Father of chemistry is a Muslim.
Right.
Majab ibn Hayyan, trigonometry, Al-Biruni, Avicenna, you name it there. So if you had to learn, if you had to be a scientist, you had to learn Arabic, compulsory. And Baghdad was called the House of Wisdom, Baitul Hikmah. It was the biggest library in the world. So all the resources of research was in Baghdad.
In Baghdad,
Baghdad,
Iraq.
Baghdad, yes. Oh, India came later on. India Muslims came later on.
Right.
So that time we had the Khilafat and we had the Muslims in India. That's the Mughal. So both put together, economically India was strong. Military, the Khilafat was strong. So both put together, we were like untouched. Like no one couldn't get it. Then they bought all this fitna, and then they bought division. Then the Muslims started fighting among themselves, and some of them deviated from the Quran. They started going after luxury, after alcohol. So that's how you found the downfall of the Muslim caliphate. And then the Britishers, they came and they brought a division between the Muslims in the Middle East, and you know what's happened. All this happened because of that.
So can you be our next caliphate?
Sorry?
Caliph? Yes.
No. I'm not fit for that.
Oh, okay.
For that, you got a more qualified person. But of course, we can always pray and ask people to. But the Quran says that, inshallah, before the end of the world, the caliphate will come back.
The Mahdi.
Mahdi will come, of course, inshallah. He'll come, and then, of course, the Khilafat also will come. So we're waiting for that time. So
Do you think that this is the start of the end of times?
yes, but
MashaAllah.
see, because there are signs for the end of the world, there are minor signs and major signs. Minor signs are many. In my Facebook post, I mentioned about 87 minor signs, and major signs are 10. Some have said 100, some have clubbed together. So one of the earliest signs was the coming of the last and final messenger. When Prophet Muhammad was born and he became a messenger, that was the earliest sign for the end of time.
Right.
But end of time is near. We don't know whether it's 10 years from now or 1,000 years or 10. We don't know. So no one knows when it will come. But the signs of the end of world have already started from the time the Prophet came. You know, because he's the last messenger. Out of the minor signs, majority have already been fulfilled. There are yet few pending. So then, but how long will it take? We don't know. Then the 10 major signs are there. When that starts coming, the Isa alayhi salam will come, Mahdi alayhi salam, all these are there.
What are some of the signs that have occurred recently?
There are many.
The
For
Burj
example-
Khalifa, for example, is this one?
No, the building of Burj. The Prophet said before the end of time, the Muslim will compete. The Arab from the desert will compete each other with building tall buildings.
Right.
So that was Burj Khalifa, I think, was made in 2014
Yeah.
or something like that.
2014.
So Burj Khalifa there. Then you have second tallest in Malaysia, Mardaka. So the Muslims, and then they say that women we wear dress, which although they're not wearing dresses, transparent. So all these, there are many signs. The masjid. So a sign of the end of world doesn't mean it's something which is wrong. No?
Right.
Most of it may be wrong. Like coming of the messenger is a good part. So sign of the end of the world doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Right.
Most of it may be bad, majority. But coming of the Prophet is not bad. You understand, no? So for example, they said the mosque would be, would be decorated elaborately. And you find the mosque. So there are, so most of the minor signs, maybe about 75% are done.
So as you just spelled out, one of the major faults of the Ummah and why we don't have a caliphate right now is because of division.
Definitely.
What can we do to do our best to bring more unity right now? And this is why you've been banned. You've been shadow banned and
Yes.
banned from governments because of unity. And I think we now see how important this is. What can we do to bring unity right now?
The reply is in the hadith of the Prophet. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, our beloved Prophet, said in Sunan Abu Dawud, volume number 4, hadith number 4297. The Prophet said, a time will come where Muslims will be pounced upon. All would jump on the Muslims as how they jump on the food.
This is happening right now.
So then the Sahaba asked, will the Muslims be less in number? The Prophet said, no, Muslims will be in large numbers, but they'll be like froth. Froth has no direction. As the wave goes, they keep on falling. We'll be like froth. And Allah will take away the fear of the enemies of Muslims from their heart. I mean, the enemies of Muslims who would normally fear Muslims, the fear would be taken away, and Muslim will have wahan. So the Sahaba asked, what is wahan? The Prophet said, Hubbul dunya kahratul maut. The Muslim will love dunya and they will fear death. So looking at this today, the world population is 8.278 billion, because I gave a talk yesterday. So whenever I give a talk, I update my statistics. Whenever I give a new talk, as of yesterday, it was 8.278 billion population, out of which more than 25% are Muslim, more than 2 billion or 2.07 billion are Muslims. Never in the history of the world have Muslims been more than 25%. Have they been more than 2 billion? We are in a large number. Every fourth human being is a Muslim. But you look at the Muslims, we are in a terrible state. We have been kicked around, we have been humiliated, we have been kicked like a football. Why? You see we have a minority, whether it be China, in the Xinjiang area, whether it be in the Rohingyas in Myanmar, whether it be Muslims in India, whether in Muslim countries, whether it be Yemen, they're fighting among themselves, in Sudan, in Afghanistan,
Palestine,
they're attacking. What nothing we're doing? Like Iran.
Iran,
And I gave a talk that if all
it's a
the
great
Muslims
point. 2 billion, but no unity.
Imagine if all, and even at the time when the caliphate was at the weakest, about 100 years ago, when the caliphate was at the weakest, at that time also we were strong, because they were afraid. The Muslims are united.
In the Ottoman rule.
Yes, even Ottoman time when they were at the weakest, yet they feared the Muslims, because at that time they took out a drama. France had taken out a drama against the Prophet. So Sultan Hamid that time said that you better stop this drama against the Prophet, and they were scared. After a few years in London, they had the same drama. Again the Caliph wrote a letter. They said, this is not France, this is London. He said, you don't know us. If I tell what we're going to do with Muslim Ummah, all will attack you. And they were afraid. That time we were weak, very weak. Yet they were afraid that Muslims had the power, because there was one leader. Today one Muslim country is fighting against the other Muslim country. One Muslim country is supporting the second Muslim country to overpower the third Muslim country. Why?
So we need a caliph then. I asked PMX. He said you don't want to be the caliph. We need someone who can. How do we find some leadership?
We can always talk about having a caliph.